Oh, I hope all you viewers enjoyed Johnny Sal as much as I did. It was just so much fun listening to him talk about all his food and everything. And now we have switched gears because I have sitting with here with me Thom Kaz. Thom is bringing a very fun message and a very interesting reality TV show here to Vegas. And we go from food to how to lose weight, but that's okay. That's so Vegas.
It's a great transition.
It really is. So why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure,
I know that you had your own show on the Strip, and then you went on world tours. You were with the likes of Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins, and then something brought you back to Vegas.
Something.
Share with us.
5'4" blonde brought me back to Vegas.
Nice, okay.
Who I've been married to for 16 years. So yeah, for the viewers out there, I mean, essentially, I do hypnosis entertainment, but I've got a 30-year background in clinical hypnotherapy and peak performance training. So I've worked with, as you mentioned, some of the best speakers and motivators in the world. And it seems like, the chance to work with a Tony Robbins, I mean, number one, it's accessibility. Number two, it's affordability. And so one of the things that I've been, passionate about over the last 20 years is really just trying to light the spark for people. And there's so many people that, Oprah Winfrey is a perfect example, who have gone and had the best nutritionists and had the access to exercise equipment, had the access to trainers, but there's something beyond the physical. There's something beyond the nutrition. And
mental block or something.
It's a mental block, and there's a self-esteem or a self-image issue that lives in the subconscious. And so for me, as a person who's been on the clinical side of hypnotherapy as well as on the performing side and just been in that world, it was like, why don't we try to find a way to marry the two together? Why don't we put a great exercise program with a great nutrition program and add that mental component, much like smoking. A lot of people have said, how many times have I quit smoking? 5. Well, you've never quit because you've gone back.
Yeah, that's true.
And because there's such a physical component to smoking. I mean, you're changing your nervous system and you're getting chemicals in your body and you're getting, you're altering all that. But with weight loss, it's the same thing. You've got to address the physical and the mental.
That makes sense.
So that was the idea behind the show concept, was to change your mind and change your life. So we wanted to identify people, give them an opportunity to audition, and find some people that had the right mindset, the right attitude, and then give them access to someone like myself.
And you'll be doing that here because you're going to have auditions at the really exquisite and fantastic Heartland Mansion, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So you'll have a panel of judges, and some of those will be people that our viewers would know, I imagine, that are famous. And
we've got some. I can't completely disclose who they are yet. There's a few NFL players that we've talked to. There's some few local celebrities here that perform in Vegas, and there's a couple of folks in Hollywood that I've been talking with. This first stage was really just to get through the masses and to identify, can we find 10 to 15 people that are really, really strong, and then narrow that down to 6 or 8 that are really committed. And so with the judges,
they'll be part of the show itself,
right.
Filming everything.
And then, as far as the celebrity involvement, I mean, there's a lot of celebrities out here who have struggled with things themselves, whether it's weight or stress or
drugs,
just all kinds
sex
of
addiction. That's a big one.
Absolutely. So the idea is if we could get them to help us help someone. Obviously, there's benefit to that for them in terms of publicity and all that. But at the end of the day, we want them to be part of a process of transformation. And some of them are passionate about that. So we're trying to get some involvement for those guys. And then as the show hopefully gets picked up by a major network, we can get bigger names. What I want to do is like a Biggest Loser and a voice or an X Factor with celebrity judges determining who's made the biggest transformation.
So it's it's more positive.
Yeah, exactly. You're not singing, you're not dancing. You're taking all these challenges that may have faced you for your entire life, and you're putting them aside and saying, I can do better. And so if we have celebrity involvement, we have celebrity encouragement, I think that show can go. So
when do you plan on having the auditions, and how does one qualify to?
Well, it's simple. I mean, we're planning on the 19th and 20th over there at the mansion, and we were planning to open it up from 9 to 2. It's an open audition. So essentially, if someone has the ability to get there and they're over the age of 18, they can, audition for an opportunity. We're not putting any stipulations on it because we don't want to limit, again.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
we don't want to limit people that are trying to do something positive for themselves. And obviously, just like any other casting call, we're looking for certain things. I mean, do I think I can work with them? Do they have the right personality to be part of a group.
Right.
Those kind of things are all factors. So
Sure.
it's all going to be relative to what shows up, who shows up, and how well they perform.
And there's no age cap on that. I mean, if somebody walked in who was 80 years old and wanted to transform
Again,
themselves,
there's no age cap, but there are some things we're looking for. And just like any other casting director, the team and I, and my wife, obviously, Allison Kaz, who's been involved in a number of castings here. She works with Jackie Basco, a legend in the industry here. Probably the #1 celebrity broker in town.
Yes, absolutely.
So all of those experiences and all of those things kind of catapulted us into, let's find a formula that works, and let's find the people that fit our parameters. And if we find those people, we want to give them an opportunity.
You have written books too, and you've established a mental clinic, so to speak, and sports, correct?
Yes.
And then
yes.
the mental, golf.
All of my Mental Edge brands.
That's it.
Mental Edge Institute is for brain and peak performance, brain wellness, things like Alzheimer's and dementia. Mental Edge Golf is for golfers. Mental Edge Sports is for sports in general, and then just Mental Edge Fitness is really about trying to teach people a healthier lifestyle. And again, if you can change your mind, you can change your life. That's kind of my mantra.
Right.
But what you believe is true for you. And the unfortunate reality is that we're being led to believe things by the media and by the magazines and by the internet.
Right.
And so people have to kind of get back to their own reality of what it is that I want to do, what is it that I want to be, and how do I want to get there. And no matter what those limiting belief systems are, through hypnotherapy and through some personal coaching and some real strategies, we can help them change that, and we can change their lives as a result.
Well, you know how they say women change their minds all the time.
Yeah.
Are women easier to work with men, or harder to work with than men? Or
Again, I've had some very successful individuals in both genders. So it's about the person. It's not about the gender or the age. It's about the person.
And do you find any common denominator, with the people that you've actually worked with? And of course, we're talking about mental blocks at this point.
Sure.
Nothing like a physical or, how much you exercise. But is there a common block that you've stumbled upon, or several, or is there a thread?
Interesting question. I think for most viewers out there, they themselves or someone they know has experienced something in their lives that's caused a belief system. I also think it comes from, we all move in one direction or another psychologically, and Tony Robbins talks a lot about this. We move towards pleasure or away from pain. So the reason that people will make a decision to change their lives and take action is because they're sick and tired of being under pain. Pain of the emotions or the stress of being overweight or unhealthy or not able to play with their kids or their grandchildren. But then again, they want the pleasure of being able to walk out on the beach and feel good about themselves.
Or eat an ice cream on Sunday.
And not feel guilty. So it really comes down to, at the very core of all of this is, do they want to move towards pleasure or away from pain? And that pain can be emotional, it can be physical, it could be health oriented, and they want to have a future with their family or their grandfamily, whatever it is. So it's different for everyone, but the common denominator is they've gotten sick and tired of being sick and tired. And so when it comes down to it, it's, I'm sick and tired of having people tell me what I can't do, what I can't wear, where I can't go. And so when they get to that point, they have a choice. They can either start doing something different, because you know what they call it, says if you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, right? So we have to change that for them. And if you can change your beliefs, you'll change your behavior. If you can change your behavior, you'll change your outcome. If you can change your outcome, you can change your life as a result of that first decision to say, I've had enough. So,
that's interesting. And then there's got to be guilt compounded on there.
Absolutely.
And especially when somebody backslides, at a dieter or somebody who's trying to quit smoking or drinking, and then they backslide. You've got to cut through a lot of that.
Absolutely. You've got to be strong enough. You've got to almost be like a superhero. You've got to be almost strong enough you've got to be able to deflect the external negativity that comes at you from family, from friends, from anybody. And then you've got to have the even stronger resolve to internally be able to beat those negative demons and that negative self-talk that's been hounding you for all those years, saying you don't deserve to look that way. You shouldn't eat that because you're going to be fat. You got to be able to believe that other people have done it before you, and there was only one difference between them and you, is they got sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they made a choice. If you make the choice to change, then you have the right direction and the instruction, and someone's going to keep you on the path, right? Then you have a chance. Give yourself that chance. That's all I ever suggest to anyone.
And how long? We're going to have to go to a 5-minute commercial break here in just a minute. I have to give a shout out to my sponsor. A shout out to the Red Roof Inn, free Wi-Fi and continental breakfast for guests, and they're pet friendly. How long generally, and say in this show, does it take a person to reach a landmark in that
Sure.
process.
There's no
Everybody's
set in
different?
everyone's different. I
I
mean,
thought,
you know, we have people that have. I mean, there can be a transformation. Just to give you an idea, someone could literally say, "I want to lose 10 pounds," and that 10 pounds could transform that person completely. Somebody could say, "I want to lose 200 pounds," but they're not as committed, they're not as focused, and their attitude doesn't change, and they still take on the same habits. So
Right.
there's a moment. It's kind of like what we call it the moment of passivity, like a tipping point.
Okay.
And that tipping point can be different for everyone.
Oh, interesting. We've got to take our little commercial break here.
Sure.
Please don't go away. Only 5 minutes away from finding out what that tipping point is. Stay tuned. We will be back.